Test your might. Mortal Kombat wasn't just a video game adaptation. It was a death tournament brought to life where every punch connected, every fighter bled, and somehow a film based on digital fatalities became the most faithful game-to-screen translation anyone had ever seen. But behind the supernatural battles and techno soundtrack, nothing was easy. The studio wanted Jean-Claude Van Damme. One actor nearly drowned during filming. And the ending fight, it was choreographed by someone who'd never worked on a movie before. These are 20 weird facts about Mortal Kombat. And hidden in the carnage, a reptile suit so hot the actor inside passed out 3 times in one day. Choose your fighter. This tournament begins now. Number 1. Brandon Lee was supposed to play Johnny Cage before his tragic death. Before the cameras rolled, before anyone was cast, the studio had one name for Johnny Cage: Brandon Lee. Fresh off The Crow, he was Hollywood's rising action star, charismatic, skilled in martial arts. Perfect blend of comedy and combat. The producers reached out through his agent. Lee was interested, very interested. He loved the video game, understood the character, and saw potential in making a smart action comedy from ridiculous source material. Meetings were scheduled. Contract negotiations began. Then tragedy struck. March 31st, 1993, Lee was killed on The Crow, set by a prop gun malfunction. The entertainment world mourned, and Mortal Kombat lost its Johnny Cage. Producers were devastated, not just professionally, personally. Some wanted to shelve the project, others pushed to continue to honor Lee by making the film he'd wanted to be part of. They cast Lyndon Ashby instead. Different energy, less martial arts pedigree. But Ashby brought charm and committed fully. He trained for months, determined to do justice to a role that carried unexpected weight. When the film was released, it was dedicated to Lee's memory and some international cuts. Because Johnny Cage, the cocky fighter with a good heart, could have been Brandon Lee's second iconic role. Instead, it became a shadow of what might have been. Number 2. The entire film was shot in Thailand in 110-degree heat.
You can't run from me, Shang!
Most action films shoot in controlled studios with air conditioning and comfort. Mortal Kombat shot in the jungles of Thailand during the hottest months of the year. Director Paul W.S. Anderson wanted authenticity, real locations, real sweat, real exhaustion. He got all 3 and nearly killed his cast doing it. Temperatures averaged 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity was suffocating. Actors wore heavy costumes, full makeup, and fought in direct sunlight for hours. Some sequences required 15, 20 takes. By take 5, everyone was drenched. By taking 10, people were vomiting from heat exhaustion. Medical tents were set up, IV drips became routine. Crew members rotated constantly because they couldn't handle the conditions, but the cast had no such luxury. Robin Shou, playing Liu Kang, lost 15 pounds during filming. Lyndon Ashby developed severe dehydration twice. Bridget Wilson nearly fainted during the Sonya fight scenes. Christopher Lambert, playing Raiden, refused to remove his costume between takes despite the heat. He said if his character was a god, he should suffer like one. The Thai crew, used to the climate, watched these Hollywood actors slowly melt and quietly placed bets on who'd quit first. Nobody did, because Mortal Kombat demanded authenticity. And authenticity apparently meant slow cooking your actors in a rainforest. Number 3. Goro was a $2 million animatronic puppet that barely worked. Goro, the four-armed Shokan prince, was supposed to be the film's technical marvel. A massive animatronic creation built by Tom Woodruff Jr. and Alec Gillis, the team behind Alien 3. They spent $2 million creating him. 14 months of design and construction, over 40 technicians to operate. 12 puppeteers controlled his movements simultaneously. Radio signals for the arms. Cable systems for facial expressions. A complicated mess of hydraulics, servos, and prayers. On paper, he was revolutionary. On set, he was a nightmare. Goro overheated constantly. The Thai humidity destroyed his internal mechanisms. Motors would seize mid-scene. Arms would freeze in awkward positions. His face would lock into weird expressions. Halfway through production, one of his arms simply fell off during a take. Just detached and hit the ground with a thud. Everyone stared in silence. Then someone started laughing. Soon, the whole crew was laughing except the puppeteers. They were crying, actual tears, because they'd spent over a year building this creature, and he was falling apart. They rebuilt, reinforced, simplified his movements. What you see in the film is Goro operating at maybe 60% of his intended capability. Every scene with him was meticulously planned because they only had small windows where everything functioned. No improvisation, no extra takes, get it right or start over. Goro represented both the ambition and limitations of 90s practical effects. Incredible when he worked, a very expensive puppet when he didn't. Number 4. The techno soundtrack was written before filming and shaped the entire movie. Most films score the music after filming. Mortal Kombat did the opposite. The Immortals' techno remix of the Mortal Kombat theme was recorded months before cameras rolled. Director Paul W.S. Anderson played it obsessively during pre-production, during fight choreography, during location scouting. He wanted the film's rhythm to match the music's energy. So fight coordinators designed battles to the beat. Editors cut footage to sync with the tempo. The entire film became a visual extension of the soundtrack. When the theme's iconic Mortal Kombat scream hit, something dramatic happened on screen. Every time. It wasn't accidental, it was architectural. Anderson even played the music on set during filming, loud, through massive speakers. Actors fought to the beat like a deadly aerobics class. Some hated it, others found it energizing. Robin Shou said it helped him time his moves. The soundtrack became so integral that when studio executives suggested replacing it with a traditional orchestral score, Anderson threatened to walk. The music stayed. And when the film released, the soundtrack outsold expectations, eventually going platinum. Kids bought the CD who'd never seen the film. Clubs played the theme. Gyms used it for workout playlists. The Mortal Kombat theme transcended the movie, becoming a cultural phenomenon. All because one director decided music should lead, not follow. And somehow, it worked.
Fight!
Number 5. Christopher Lambert insisted on doing his own stunts despite having no martial arts training.
I don't think so.
Christopher Lambert, playing the Thunder God Raiden, had a problem. He couldn't fight at all. Zero martial arts experience. He was a dramatic actor who'd played Highlander, sure, but that was sword work and editing tricks. Mortal Kombat required hand-to-hand combat. Fast, technical, convincing. The stunt coordinator suggested a double for all fight scenes. Lambert refused. He said Raiden was a god. Gods don't need stunt doubles. The coordinator explained that without training, Lambert would get hurt, or worse, hurt someone else. Lambert didn't care. He hired a private martial arts instructor, trained 6 hours a day for 2 months before filming, then continued training during production. He'd finish shooting, go back to his hotel, and practice forms until midnight. His dedication was admirable. His execution was less so. During the first fight rehearsal, Lambert accidentally kicked Robin Shou in the face. Hard. Shou's nose bled. Lambert apologized profusely. They reset. Lambert punched the wrong direction and hit a camera. The crew started getting nervous, but Lambert kept pushing. He slowed down his movements, focused on precision over speed, let his scene partners lead, and gradually he improved, not to an expert level, but enough. What you see in the film is Lambert giving everything he has. His techniques aren't polished, his timing isn't perfect, but his commitment is absolute, and sometimes that matters more. Number 6. Talisa Soto was cast as Kitana because she looked like the video game character. Casting directors usually look for acting ability first, appearance second. For Princess Kitana, they reversed the priorities. The producers had one requirement: she must look exactly like the video game character. Not similar, exactly. They held casting calls across America. Hundreds of actresses auditioned, all talented, all beautiful. None looked like Kitana. Then someone showed them a photo of Talisa Soto, former Bond girl, model, actress. And she looked like Kitana had walked out of the screen. Same face structure, same eyes, same everything. They brought her in. She read for the part. Her audition was fine, not spectacular, but it didn't matter. She looked perfect. They cast her immediately. Then reality set in. Soto had minimal fight training. The role required extensive martial arts, weapon work, wire stunts. She had weeks to prepare. Soto trained harder than she'd ever trained for anything. 6 days a week, 8 hours daily, learning forms, practicing with fans, doing wire rehearsals until her body was covered in bruises. The stunt team was impressed but concerned. She was improving but not fast enough. So they choreographed around her limitations, gave her moves she could execute, used camera angles to enhance what she could do, brought in a stunt double for the complex sequences. The result? Kitana looked exactly like fans expected, and Soto delivered the character's regal presence even if her fighting wasn't flawless. Sometimes looking the part is half the battle. Number 7. The Scorpion vs. Johnny Cage fight was choreographed in one afternoon. One of the film's most memorable fights almost didn't happen. Scorpion dragging Johnny Cage into hell. The forest battle. Get over here. It's iconic. But it wasn't in the script, not originally. The script had a brief encounter, no extended fight, no supernatural realm, just Scorpion appearing, getting defeated quickly, moving on. But Chris Casamassa, playing Scorpion, was a legitimate martial artist. He'd trained his whole life, and he had ideas, big ideas. He approached Lyndon Ashby and director Anderson one afternoon, said he'd been working on choreography. Could they spare an hour? They watched Casamassa demonstrate a full fight sequence. Spinning kicks, acrobatics, wire-enhanced moves, complex combinations. Anderson's eyes lit up. This was better than anything they'd planned. He checked the schedule. They had the forest location for one more day, unused time. He made a decision. They'd shoot it tomorrow. Casamassa and Ashby spent that evening rehearsing. The stunt coordinator joined. They refined the sequence, practiced timing, worked out camera angles. The next day, they filmed the entire fight. 10 hours straight, no breaks. They captured everything. Scorpion spear throw, the Hell Realm portal, the forest combat, all improvised and executed in a single day. When they screened the footage, everyone knew they'd stumbled onto something special. The fight that wasn't supposed to exist became one of the film's highlights. All because one actor had a vision and one director said yes. Number 8. The reptile costume was so hot, the actor passed out repeatedly. Keith Cook played Reptile, the film's invisible ninja assassin. His costume was elaborate. Full-body latex suit, mask with limited eye holes, layers of paint and prosthetics. It looked incredible. It also tried to kill him. The suit had zero ventilation, none. In 110-degree Thai heat, wearing it was like being boiled alive. Cook would get dressed, start rehearsing, and within 15 minutes he'd feel dizzy. 20 minutes, nauseous. 30 minutes, he'd collapse. The first time it happened, everyone panicked. The medical team rushed in, stripped off the costume. Cook was unconscious, severely overheated, and heart racing. They cooled him down. He recovered, then insisted on continuing. They rebuilt part of the costume, added hidden ventilation, thin tubes to circulate air. It helped marginally. Cook still overheated. During the Liu Kang versus Reptile fight, Cook passed out 3 separate times. 3. They'd film for 10 minutes, Cook would drop, medics would intervene, cool him down, and he'd demand to continue. The stunt coordinator wanted to use a double. Cook refused. He said he trained for this role. Nobody else would wear his costume, so they adapted. Filmed in shorter bursts, gave Cook longer recovery periods, kept ice baths on standby. The fight took 3 days to complete instead of 1. But every frame is Cook, his dedication, his suffering. You can't see it through the costume, but it's there. Every movement powered by someone refusing to quit, even when his body was shutting down. Number 9. Bridget Wilson broke her arm during the Kano fight and kept filming. Sonya Blade vs. Kano, the warehouse fight, brutal, physical, one of the film's grittiest sequences. And halfway through filming it, Bridget Wilson broke her arm. She was executing a combination, punch, kick, grapple. Her arm hit a metal prop at the wrong angle. She felt something crack. Immediate pain, but she didn't stop. Finished the take, called cut, then quietly told someone she thought her arm was broken. They rushed her to a hospital. X-rays confirmed it. Hairline fracture in her forearm. The doctor said she needed rest. 6 weeks minimum. Wilson said she had 3 days to finish the fight sequence. The doctor argued. Wilson didn't care. She had them wrap it, tight, then hide the wrap under her costume. She went back to the set. Nobody knew except the director and stunt coordinator. They modified the choreography. gave her moves that didn't require that arm. But watching the final fight, you'd never suspect. Wilson throws punches with both hands, blocks, grapples. The pain was constant. She said later every movement felt like fire, but she refused pain medication because it would slow her reflexes. She fought through it using pure willpower and adrenaline. When filming wrapped, the cast found out. They were shocked she'd hidden it. Wilson shrugged, said Sonya Blade wouldn't quit over a broken bone, so neither would she. The character and actor became one, both warriors refusing to back down no matter the cost. Number 10. The film had no CGI budget, so they used practical effects for everything. 1995 was the dawn of CGI. Jurassic Park had revolutionized effects. Toy Story proved that full CGI films were possible. But Mortal Kombat had no money for digital effects. None. Their entire effects budget went to building Goro. Everything else had to be practical. So they got creative. Scorpion Spear, a real weapon on a wire pulled by hand, Liu Kang's bicycle kick, Robin Show actually doing it, filmed at high speed. Sub-Zero's ice, practical ice props built by the art department and filmed melting. Animated lightning added in post using traditional cell animation, not CGI. The portal effects, smoke machines and colored lights, the soul extraction, performers on wires with superimposed transparent overlays. Every supernatural element required ingenuity, not technology. The crew became problem solvers. How do we make this look magical with no budget? They used camera tricks, practical rigs, creative editing, old Hollywood magic, and somehow it worked. The film's effects hold up better than many 90s movies that relied on early CGI because practical effects age differently. They're tangible, real. You can feel the weight, the texture. Mortal Kombat's low-tech approach became its strength. It forced creativity. It made the impossible feel possible. And it proved that limitations breed innovation. Sometimes the best effects aren't the most expensive ones. They're the cleverest ones. Number 11. Robin Show was cast after fighting off real attackers in an alley. Robin Show wasn't the first choice for Liu Kang. He wasn't even in the top 5. The studio wanted a name, someone recognizable. Brandon Lee was dead. Jet Li declined. Jason Scott Lee passed. The search was desperate. Then Robin Show walked into his audition with a black eye and a split lip. Fresh wounds. Casting directors asked what happened. Show explained. The night before, he'd been jumped by 3 men in a parking lot trying to steal his car. He fought back, badly outnumbered, but he didn't care. He used Wing Chun, defended himself, injured 2 attackers before they fled. Then he drove himself to the audition. Didn't clean up, didn't delay, just showed up, bruised and bleeding, ready to fight for the role. The casting director was speechless, asked if he needed medical attention. Shu declined, said he'd already proven he could take a hit. Now let him prove he could act. They had him read. His audition was solid, not exceptional, but his presence was undeniable. This man had just fought off multiple attackers and walked into a room asking for a job. That's Liu Kang energy. They cast him that day. No more auditions needed. Because sometimes the perfect actor for a martial arts film isn't the one with the best demo reel. It's the one who shows up with proof they can actually fight, and Show's credentials were literally written on his face. Number 12. The Shang Tsung soul-sucking effect required Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa to hold his breath for minutes. Shang Tsung's signature move was stealing souls. On screen it looks mystical. Glowing energy. Victims suspended in the air. Pure movie magic. Behind the scenes, it was Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa turning purple. The effect required practical performance. No CGI budget meant Tagawa had to sell the soul absorption physically. The director wanted his chest to expand, showing the absorbed soul entering his body. Tagawa suggested breath control. He'd inhale deeply, hold it, let his chest visibly expand while the lighting effects were added in post. Simple, except each take lasted 45, 60 seconds, and they needed multiple angles, multiple takes. Do the math. Tagawa spent hours holding his breath. His face would turn red, then purple, his eyes would bulge. Not acting, actual oxygen deprivation. Between takes, he'd gasp for air, recover, then do it again. The stunt coordinator worried about brain damage. Tagawa laughed it off, said he'd practiced meditation and breath control for years, but crew members noticed him getting dizzy, stumbling slightly after particularly long takes. On day 2 of filming soul-stealing sequences, Tagawa passed out, just collapsed mid-scene. Medical rushed in. He was fine, just depleted. They adjusted, gave him longer breaks, brought in oxygen tanks. But Tagawa still pushed himself, because he understood something important. The effect only worked if his performance was real, if audiences believed he was truly absorbing power, and that meant actually suffering. Method acting through asphyxiation. Number 13. The tournament island was actually 5 different locations edited together. The island tournament looks like one cohesive location. Temple, courtyard, beach, throne room, mountains, all connected, except none of it was real. Not in the way you think. The production couldn't afford to build a massive set or rent a single location with everything they needed, so they improvised. The temple exterior was shot at one location in Thailand, the courtyard at another 15 miles away. The throne room was a soundstage in Los Angeles. The beach was a third Thai location. The mountain paths were a fourth. 5 completely different places, different provinces, filmed weeks apart. Continuity was a nightmare. Lighting changed between locations. Weather patterns didn't match. The art department had to meticulously recreate architectural details at each site so they'd appear connected. They'd measure doorways at location 1, then rebuild identical doorways at location 2. Paint colors were matched precisely. Stone textures replicated. The editor spent months stitching it together, using clever cuts, matching eye lines, audio bridges. When characters walked through a doorway at location A, they'd emerge at location B and nobody watching could tell. It's seamless. Test audiences never questioned it. They assumed the production had found or built one massive location. Instead, it was a magic trick. 5 fragments presented as a whole. Like the tournament itself, the island was an illusion, held together by clever filmmaking and desperate problem-solving. Number 14. Johnny Cage's $500 sunglasses scene was Lyndon Ashby's idea. Johnny Cage's defining character moment, where he complains about his $500 sunglasses getting destroyed, wasn't in the script. The original scene had Cage getting beaten, getting angry, and fighting back. Standard action movie beats, no personality. Lyndon Ashby thought it was boring. He wanted to give Cage something memorable, something that defined him beyond punching. So he approached Paul W.S. Anderson with an idea. Make Cage vain, materialistic, someone who cares about expensive things even in life or death situations. Anderson liked it but had no budget for rewrites. Ashby said he'd improvise. They agreed to try it. During the take, after getting hit, Ashby ad-libbed the line about his designer sunglasses. The crew loved it. They filmed multiple takes with different variations, Ashby trying different deliveries, different levels of outrage. In editing, they chose the most obnoxious version, the one where Cage sounds genuinely more upset about sunglasses than fighting for his life. It defined the character instantly. Audiences laughed. That one improvised line gave Johnny Cage dimension, made him funny without being a joke, showed he was skilled but shallow, dangerous but ridiculous. After the film released, the line became iconic. Fans quoted it constantly. Video game developers incorporated it into later games, all because one actor thought his character needed personality and a director trusted him to find it on the spot. Number 15. The Liu Kang vs. Reptile fight was filmed in an actual ancient temple. The fight between Liu Kang and Reptile takes place in a statue-filled temple. It looks like a set, carefully designed, controlled. It wasn't. They filmed in Wat Phra Si Sunphet, a real 14th century temple in Ayutthaya, Thailand, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The temple authorities granted permission with strict conditions: no damage, no alterations, no touching the ancient Buddha statues. Film around them, respect them. The production agreed, then realized the restrictions made filming nearly impossible. Fight choreography requires space, freedom to move, to fall, to break things. Here they had none of that. Every camera angle had to avoid showing modern elements. Every fight move had to be calculated to avoid hitting priceless artifacts. Insurance required additional coverage. Security demanded supervision. The stunt team carefully mapped out the fight, identifying safe zones between statues. Robin Shou and Keith Cook rehearsed for days, memorizing exactly where they could and couldn't move. On filming day, temple monks watched every take, ensuring nothing was harmed. The pressure was immense. One mistake could cause an international incident, destruction of cultural heritage, but they pulled it off. The fight is dynamic, brutal, cinematic, and every ancient statue surrounding them is real, centuries old. Watching silently as two men in costumes recreated a video game battle. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Modern pop culture invading sacred historical space, but the result was worth it. The temple gave the fight gravitas, weight, a sense that this battle mattered beyond entertainment. Number 16. Trevor Goddard created Kano's Australian accent because he misread the character description. In the video games, Kano was American, specifically Japanese-American, that was canon. But Trevor Goddard, a British actor, misread the character notes. He saw Kano and somehow decided the character should be Australian. Why? Nobody knows. Not even Goddard could explain it years later, he just felt it. So he showed up to his audition doing a thick Australian accent, calling people mate, using Aussie slang, playing Kano as an outback mercenary. The casting directors were confused. This wasn't what they'd described, but something about it worked. Goddard's interpretation made Kano more memorable, more distinct. They asked him to keep it. Then came the hard part. Goddard wasn't Australian. He was faking the accent, badly. Australians who later saw the film noticed immediately. The accent was inconsistent, sometimes Queensland, sometimes Sydney, sometimes just generic. Goddard did his best, hiring a dialect coach mid-production, but he was learning as he went. Despite the accent issues, his performance worked. Kano became a fan favorite, so much so that video game developers changed Kano's official origin story. In every game after the film, Kano was Australian. The movie retconned the game's own lore, all because one British actor misread his character notes and committed to a fake accent he couldn't quite pull off. Sometimes mistakes become canon. Number 17. The final battle with Shang Tsung was rewritten during filming. The climactic showdown between Liu Kang and Shang Tsung was supposed to be straightforward. A martial arts fight, hand-to-hand combat. Liu Kang wins, roll credits. But 3 days before filming it, Paul W.S. Anderson watched the rough cut. Something was wrong. The fight was boring, too similar to earlier battles. No escalation, no spectacle. The film needed a bigger ending. Anderson called an emergency meeting. Writers, stunt coordinators, special effects. They had 72 hours to completely redesign the final battle. No additional budget, no time for major prep. Just figure it out. Someone suggested shape-shifting. Shang Tsung transforming into different fighters, using their abilities against Liu Kang. It would showcase multiple fighting styles, create visual variety, and feel video game accurate. Perfect. Except they had no plan for how to execute it. The effects team scrambled. They'd use quick cuts, costume changes, camera tricks, old-school movie magic. Tagawa would fight as himself, then they'd cut, change his costume to look like another character, and continue. Robin Shou would have to fight multiple opponents seamlessly, even though he was fighting one actor doing quick changes. They rehearsed frantically. Shou learned new choreography for each form Shang Tsung took. The shooting schedule was chaos. Costume changes every few minutes, lighting adjustments constantly. But they finished. The final fight became dynamic, unpredictable, and exciting. And it was invented 3 days before filming. Proof that panic breeds creativity. Number 18. New Line Cinema almost released it straight to video. Before Mortal Kombat became a box office success, New Line Cinema almost killed it. The studio screened a rough cut for executives. The response was lukewarm. Some thought it was too cheesy, others said it was too violent. Nobody thought it would succeed in theaters. The budget had been modest, around $18 million, but marketing would cost millions more. The studio debated, theatrical release or straight-to-video. They crunched numbers. Straight-to-video was safer, lower risk, guaranteed returns from rentals. Theatrical was gambling. One executive argued for theaters. He'd shown the film to his teenage son. The kid went crazy for it, watched it twice, called all his friends. That enthusiasm swayed the room. They decided on a limited theatrical release. A few cities, test the waters. If it failed, they'd dump it to video quickly. The opening weekend shocked everyone. The film made $23 million domestically in 3 days. It crushed projections, exceeded expectations. Suddenly, New Line expanded distribution. More theaters, more marketing. International rollout accelerated. The final domestic gross was over $70 million. Worldwide, over $122 million on an $18 million budget. Mortal Kombat became one of 1995's surprise hits, and it almost went straight to Blockbuster Video. One executive's teenager saved it. Sometimes the best market research is watching a 14-year-old lose their mind. Number 19. The movie single-handedly changed Hollywood's view of video game adaptations. Before Mortal Kombat, video game movies were jokes. Super Mario Bros. Bombed. Street Fighter was ridiculed. Double Dragon flopped. Hollywood learned a lesson. Video games don't translate to film. Except Mortal Kombat didn't care about lessons. It did everything wrong. Stayed faithful to the source material. Cast martial artists over big stars. Embraced the game's absurdity instead of apologizing for it. And it worked. Critics weren't kind. Roger Ebert called it pointless. Others dismissed it as juvenile. But audiences didn't care. They packed theaters, watched it repeatedly, quoted it endlessly. The film proved something studios had missed. Gamers wanted faithful adaptations. They wanted to see their games come to life, not reimagined by screenwriters who'd never played them. Mortal Kombat respected its source, honored the characters, replicated the moves, even included the theme song. That respect translated to success. After Mortal Kombat, Hollywood reconsidered video game films. Resident Evil got greenlit. Tomb Raider secured funding. Dozens of adaptations followed, some good, most bad, but they existed because one film proved it was possible. Paul W.S. Anderson later said he never understood why studios fought source material. Fans loved these games. Give them what they want. Don't fix what isn't broken. Simple advice, but revolutionary in 1995. Mortal Kombat didn't just succeed as a film, it changed an industry's approach to an entire genre of adaptation. Number 20. A sequel was greenlit before the first film finished its theatrical run. Mortal Kombat was still playing in theaters when New Line Cinema called Paul W.S. Anderson. They had news. The sequel was approved. Budget increased. Filming would begin within a year. Anderson was thrilled. Until they told him the catch, they wanted it bigger. More characters, more fights, more spectacle, and they wanted it fast. Strike while the iron was hot. The first film's success was still fresh. They needed a sequel in theaters by 1997. 2 years. Anderson realized the timeline was insane. The first film took years to develop. This one would be rushed. He expressed concerns. The studio didn't care. They wanted Mortal Kombat, annihilation in production immediately. Anderson tried negotiating for more time, more creative control. The studio pushed back. Tensions rose. Eventually, Anderson walked away. He wouldn't direct the sequel. New Line panicked briefly, then hired John R. Leonetti, the first film's cinematographer. Leonetti had never directed a feature, but he knew the visual style. That was enough. Annihilation went into production. Rushed, underdeveloped, overstuffed with characters. It was released in 1997 to terrible reviews and disappointing box office. Everything Anderson feared came true. The sequel nearly killed the franchise. But that original film, still perfect, still respected. Because Mortal Kombat succeeded by taking time, respecting the source material, and not rushing creativity. Its sequel failed by doing the opposite. A perfect lesson in why success can't be manufactured on a studio timeline. Bonus fact, the Mortal Kombat theme song was rejected by every record label. The Immortals created the iconic Mortal Kombat theme song specifically for the film. They worked for months, perfected the beat, added the screaming vocal, made it aggressive, energetic, unforgettable. Then they tried selling it. Record labels heard it and passed, universally. Too niche, too aggressive, too weird. Nobody wanted to release a techno song based on a violent video game. The Immortals were devastated, but the film's music supervisor believed in it. He pushed for its inclusion, made it the film's centerpiece. The studio agreed reluctantly. When the film was released, the song exploded. Radio stations played it, clubs remixed it. It became synonymous with the film. The soundtrack went platinum. The Immortals suddenly had a hit. Record labels came crawling back, asking for more, wanting to sign them. The band declined most offers, said they'd proven their point. The song those labels rejected became one of the 90s most recognizable tracks, Decades later, it's still played at sporting events, gyms, and parties, a cultural touchstone. All because everyone said no except one music supervisor who understood that sometimes the weirdest ideas become the biggest hits. Mortal Kombat didn't follow Hollywood's rules. It respected the game, trusted the fights, and proved video game movies could work if you let them. If these secrets floored you, hit like, subscribe, and tell us your favorite fatality. Finish him. And finish this by sharing it with every MK fan you know.